Your homework tonight is on adding and subtracting linear expressions. I would like everybody to turn to page 396 in your textbook. Pause this video while you take a moment to take that out. Okay, now on page 396, this is adding all the way down at the bottom. This is adding two linear expressions. This is a lot like what we've been practicing in combining like terms. The first thing that we need to do here in this expression, it's taking 3x plus 5 and adding that to 2x plus 3. So we need to, order of operations, we need to get rid of the parentheses. We've been distributing whatever is in front of these parentheses right here, and you see since there is just a plus sign, we know that there's a 1. The good thing about a 1 being here is that when you multiply anything by 1, you get itself. So to get rid of the parentheses, we can basically rewrite this expression. 3x plus 5 plus 2x plus 3. Now we have an expression where we can combine like terms like we are used to doing. I am going to find the terms with an x variable, 3x and 2x. When we add those together, we get 5x. Now I'm going to circle the constants, positive 5 and positive 3. When you combine those together, you get positive 8. All right, let's look at B. We are adding together 2x minus 4, excuse me, plus 3x minus 7. Again, in front of each of these terms is a 1. It's understood to be a 1 there, and when you multiply 1 by anything, you get itself. So all we need to do is rewrite this expression, 2x minus 4 plus 3x minus 7. That plus 1 times the negative 7 will give us negative 7. Now again, we're back to a term that we're used to seeing. We're going to combine our like terms. We have a positive 2x and a positive 3x. That gives me 5x. Now I'm going to circle my constants. Negative 4 and negative 7 gives me negative 11. So now I want you to turn the page to 397. I want you to pause the video and I want you to try C, D, E, and F. All right, now that you've paused the video, I want you to check your answers for C. When we combine our like terms here, we end up getting 3x plus 2. D, this is a negative. You could write 1x here if you wanted to, minus 3. Again, we're just essentially distributing that 1 across both of these terms. E is 7x plus 45, and F is 14x minus 1. Now, if you have a different answer for any of these, go ahead and erase it, try it again, look at my work, see what you can do before you move on in the video. Now that you're ready to move on, I want to talk about subtracting linear expressions. Subtracting linear expressions is just a little bit different. So I want you to turn to page 404, and I want you to look at A. On page 404, we are taking 5x minus 9, and we're subtracting 2x minus 7. Just like when we were adding, there isn't a constant in front of these parentheses, so we need to think about this as a 1. The only difference here is that this is a negative 1. So when we're distributing, the first term remains the same. It's a 1. When you multiply anything by 1, it's going to remain the same. So this is still going to be 5x minus 9. But in the second case, when we distribute a negative 1 here for subtraction, negative 1 times positive 2x gives me a negative 2x. and a negative 1 times a negative 7 gives me a positive 7. Or if you wanted to just bring this negative sign down, negative 1 times the 7 would be negative 7. A negative turns into a positive here. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and combine our like terms. We have 5x and a negative 2x. 5x minus 2x gives us 3x's. I'm going to circle my constants. Negative 9 and positive 7 gives me a negative 2. So as you can see, when you subtract, the difference is that you are changing the signs on the last term. My 2x becomes a negative 2x, my negative 7 becomes a positive 7. And that's just like when we're subtracting integers. We add the opposite. So our answer here is 3x minus 2. Let's look at B. Again, and it's going to be very helpful for you guys to write in the ones that are understood here. 1 times 6x minus 10. The identity property of multiplication tells us that this is still 6x minus 10. Now, when we go to distribute this negative 1 to the second parentheses, a negative 1 times a positive 2x gives me a negative 2x. A negative 1 times a negative 8 is negative times negative is positive. Or if you like to bring the subtraction sign down, you brought it down there so you've already used it. Now a negative 1 times 8 will be negative 8. When you have a negative negative, it turns into a positive. Now we can combine our like terms. We have a 6x and a negative 2x. That gives me 4 x's. I'm going to circle my constants. Negative 10 plus positive 8 gives me a negative 2. Now I'd like you to turn to page 405, and I want you to try E and F on your own. I want you to pause this video right now, complete these problems, and when you're ready to see the answers, I want you to continue to play. Okay, now that you've had a chance to practice subtracting linear expressions, here is my work. So E, I got 2x minus 10, and again, I distributed this negative 1 to the 2x and to the positive 7, making it negative 2x and negative 7. For F, I got 3x minus 7, and again, I distributed that negative 1 to the 2x in the positive 3, getting a negative 2x and a negative 3. Your homework tonight is going to be page 399, 1 through 6, and page 407, 1 through 6. This is practicing adding and subtracting linear expressions. You can always go back and watch this video again or look at your notes in your book if you need to.